All right, if you forgot to fill up the gas tanks yesterday, you're not going to be happy this morning. Prices at the pumps jumping about 4 cents overnight, bringing the cost of a liter of gas to $1.33.9. Drivers not happy about it.
It's crazy. It's going up and up every day. Last night I filled up with $1.29. $1.29. Tonight is $1.34.
I'm not too happy with it, but, you know, if you drive, there's not too much you can do, and it affects everything else, too, so not really too much you can do.
Now, this is the highest prices have been in 3.5 years. Back in June 2014, a liter of gas ran you about $1.42.9, and looks like that trend could be returning. Let's bring in our friend Mike Eppel over at 680. And, Mike, what's going on? Because I think a lot of people really just shocked this morning, and hearing the news that this trend could continue, not so great.
Well, pretty much every spring, good morning, Melanie, we do see the price elevated because you have a couple of things going on in the actual making of gasoline, and that is the gas companies switching over from wintertime blends over to summertime blends. They are different. It requires changes at the refinery level to make that switch, and that leads to less production. Then you have the actual price for the raw material, oil, which this morning is at a 3-year high. The price out of Alberta is north of $48 a barrel. The international price north of $65. And in some cases overseas, it's north of $72 per barrel. So we're seeing, again, the base raw materials elevated. And then, of course, you've got profitability for the energy companies, carbon taxes into the mix, supply and demand. The thing I will say, though, that we haven't seen in previous years is variation in prices. You shop around the GTA. In a downtown, it's $1.33.9. You go to the suburbs, you're looking at less than $1.20 per liter in some cases. So we don't have that across the board pricing that we once did. There's a little more competition, more localized markets, and if you wait until later into the evening, typically the gas stations have actually been lowering prices after 6 o'clock. So there are some ways to mitigate the damage of rising price for gasoline. And again, we could see it breach $1.42 later this spring. That's the longer-term trend. What we're watching this morning on the morning markets, Facebook back in the spotlight. Yesterday was the first day of a couple of days of testimony for CEO Mark Zuckerberg in Washington regarding the data privacy issues. Most people say he did a pretty good job in 5 hours of testimony for 40 U.S. senators, asking all about privacy and who controls the data on social media, what should be done about it, should there be regulation. Over the 2 hours of trading activity on Facebook while Zuckerberg was on the stand, shares of the social network jumped by 4.5%, and on paper, Mark Zuckerberg actually made $3 billion in the process. We are this morning seeing a downdraft on stocks. We've got renewed risk assessment, whether it's potential military activity involving the United States in Syria, or risk assessment on the U.S. economy. We've got Dow futures starting the day down over 200 points. Yesterday was a good day on diminished trade risk between the U.S. and China, with the Dow coming off a gain of 428 points. TSX up 34. And this morning we do have the Canadian dollar 79 1/3 cents U.S., and that is a 6-week high. We'll send it back to the studio.